Oh, friends, good morning, good evening, good day, good night, wherever you're catching me yap my gums here. Let's talk about SoFi. Talk about Palantir. The market Monday came to life here. It came back to life, and it was a good day. Palantir did good, back up in this 160 range, which I think it's going to get to 160 to one. If the market gets up and running again here more and more aggressive, it's probably going to be back to 170, 180 here, on a good day. SoFi Monday pretty much spent the whole day climbing. It really never stopped. It climbed all day, and this was very encouraging. Back up into this almost $28 position. So, I mean, this is telling us that the just the middle place, the safe ground, just the new place where SoFi is at right now is easily 27, more than likely like $30. Okay, this is pretty much just a normal playground where it's going to be. On a really good day, another market push. Oh my God, everything's going crazy. 31, 32 is what we've had. 35, I definitely think is down the pipeline. So, talking about SoFi here first, real fast, kind of, I broke down SoFi in so many different ways. And, if you don't know, I'm extremely bullish on SoFi. I think it's one of the best places to be for investors right now. I think every investor, if they're not already in it, it's not, at this point, it's really weird because last year there was still a lot of I don't know if SoFi is going to be pulled off, and people were still kind of hesitant about it. But now, I mean, literally everyone that I run into, talk to, everyone has a SoFi position, building a SoFi position. They're doing something with SoFi. They're option trading, whatever they're doing. I mean, everyone has their sticky investor hands in SoFi right now. There's no doubt about it, and they should, because it's a fantastic play right now. And this is where there's different avenues right now with SoFi that will undoubtedly could and would and will push it in going into this new year. One of the things that we're dealing with right now is that obviously this is a change of events now, starting off the week in the market here. Now we're talking about, okay, the Feds are going to potentially do a rate cut here in the beginning of December. So now the market is back up and running. Of course, what likes this? Bank stocks like this. SoFi likes this. This is where we could have these leapfrog action moments with bank stocks, but I really pushing this, laser beaming this on SoFi right now, because SoFi still has so much ground it can cover here at a very short time base going into next year. By the summer of next year, really thinking about where we could be here with many different places with SoFi, revenue for quarterlies, the progression of the company, what they're doing, what they're getting out. I mean, they're still building SoFi. This is still very much a, very, youthful company where they're building onto it every year. We hear something new is happening. With that too, if we get this rate cut in December, that's 3 rate cuts. This is going to be great. This is going to be good for the market. It's going to be good for SoFi, and we're going to start off the year pretty hot here. And why I say that is because, this is just how the cookie crumbles right now with the way we see it, is that Jerome Powell is out. And, he's done. In 2026, he's done. Trump will put someone in his place that is essentially going to do what he says. And whether you like that, don't like it, that's just the way it is. And for us as investors, that's just the clear cut direction it's going to go. So with that, Trump wants rate cuts. He's going to get rate cuts. He's going to get some rate cuts next year. They're coming down the pipeline. I don't know how they would not show up next year. Now there could be a fight to start them up again, because obviously there are some Fed members that are against more rate cuts even at this point. And then there are a few people in there, and obviously they're the ones really connected to Trump. They are going to do rate cuts. But two, when we get a chairman out there, that is connected to Trump and does what Trump says, we're going to have rate cuts. It's a very interesting cycle that we've been in here this year, especially, where we've had a banging market, and we've had these moments this year in the market where Jerome has essentially crushed the market more than once, more than twice this year. And, he did, just recently too. So we may not deal with that next year. We may not have a Fed chairman who destroys the market just by some comments. I expect whoever's going to do the job next is going to be very positive and optimistic about, the market, and maybe just say things a little different. Jerome has been very much of an Eeyore character, not to say it, say anything against him. That's just kind of what we've been dealing with. But the reason I say all this is because it's very important for bank stocks. Doing rate cuts, people will be able to borrow money at a lower rate, and banks like that because they can get more money, longer paces, all this kind of stuff. SoFi is in such a beautiful position right now, and it's still, my God, anything under, I think even anything under $35-$40 right now with SoFi is a very beautiful place to be, considering where we could be this time next year. Because, quarterlies, I just made a video on this where I think there's a strong argument right now. I don't know that it's going to be by Q4, but Q1 of 2026, SoFi could bypass Robinhood in quarterlies. And why I always bring up Robinhood, because I saw somebody say, why are you always bringing up Robinhood with SoFi with Robinhood? I say that because more than likely, every time I run into someone who is buying SoFi, they've bought Robinhood. They're buying Robinhood. Some people are buying Robinhood even at these high prices. And I love Robinhood, but there is a conversation and an argument, I think, to go Robinhood has been a little unstable with quarterlies. Now, obviously, I do think that they will, undoubtedly continue to be a great company and push aggressive quarterlies, but they do not keep up here with these aggressive, quarterlies. And it's hard to say that because the last one, obviously, that just had was the biggest they've ever had. But, right now we're seeing this big quarterly and then kind of some, shrinkage. So if that happens again, this is why SoFi can just go, bypass them. I find it hard to believe that people are going to sit here and buy Robinhood for $100 a share when they can go over here to buy SoFi, who undoubtedly could be the bigger company in 5 years. That's where I go. I kind of think it's going to happen regardless. It's just pulling the Band-Aid off here at this point. Now, does that mean get rid of all of your Robinhood, get out right now? No, I don't think that's what it means. But I do think there is going to be a moment here in time where investors are going to look over and they're going to see SoFi matching price-wise to what Robinhood is. I think that's just a very, very, much a reality that's going to be coming here in 2026, which is great. It's fantastic. Friends, I don't have a lot of negative things to say here about SoFi. I think this is such an underrated stock still. I think it is going to be shocking what we're about to witness here, especially if rate cuts do increase. And I don't think it's if, I think it's just when they increase here going in 2026. Like I said, it's no secret. Trump wants rate cuts. His cabinet wants rate cuts. Whoever he puts in place here is going to do rate cuts. This is just what is going on right now. SoFi pushing in everything they're pushing in right now with crypto, with pushing into more people opening accounts with them, loan programs, consolidation, everything, and more to come going into the following years. And two, we know that SoFi is going to more than likely push their trading fingers to where people are able to do more of aggressive trading with them. You can buy stocks with SoFi, stuff like this, and now they're pushing into crypto. So this undoubtedly is going to bring in more money for them, obviously. But I would highly expect that that's going to be something they're going to focus more on in, over the years. But right now, I still think that they are focusing, their main focus right now is a bridge, a bank, and bridging that into loan programs, consolidating, credit cards, all this kind of stuff. And they're doing it, and they're doing a great job in it. So it's just going to keep piling up money for them. So yeah, we'll see what happens here. If this good vibe keeps going here with SoFi in the market, really just the market, I fully expect SoFi to be back up to $28, $30 here before we know it. It's a very interesting conversation right now of everything we just went through with all this baloney about the market collapsing, AI bubble, all this kind of stuff. And this conversation will more than likely come back up around Q4s, undoubtedly. The Bears love drama like that. But what it's done more than anything is just offered the bulls more of an opportunity to buy up shares here at a very cheap price. And this is why the past 3 weeks I have been saying push, 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 because if people were pushing, they just bought a lot of cheap shares. And there were things that aggressively completely oversold. SoFi completely oversold. This went down to $23. Give me a freaking break. Even at 27, 28, this is a steal compared to where we're going to be here more than likely in the following months. So Palantir, I'm still very bullish on Palantir, 100%. What do we know about Palantir? Bullet points to this is that obviously Q4 is going to be amazing, and anything else that shows up here between that time zone from now to, obviously a time zone out right before Q4, it's going to go on there. It's going to be great. Essentially right now we are back at prices right after Q2. So when Q2 came out with Palantir quarterlies, back before September, we pushed all the way into this, 190, high 90 zones. Okay, then we sold off down to this, 140s, 150s, 160s on a high aggression day. Now, if you look at that right now, in that time zone leading up to Q3, there was these long pillars, these staircases that were turned into a bridge of what Palantir building into that $200 position, even at one point hitting almost $215. And when that big price zone came in there with Palantir here just, weeks ago, that was when Nvidia and Palantir announced a partnership working together, but that was right before the Q3s came out. Now obviously when Q3s came out here with Palantir, within that 24-hour zone, that was when Michael Burry came out here and said, hey, just so you know, I had some puts against Palantir. We don't know when, don't know how, we don't know time zone. Well, that was just the start of the collapse with Palantir. So Palantir is pretty much holding this zone back into high 150s, low 160s. I'm not shocked to see Palantir go back into 170, 180 at this point. I'm really not. If the market can get stable here and slowly start to push up here, investors start to have more confidence, big money starts to have more confidence. If we hear anything more about we're getting rate cuts, we do get a rate cut here in December, this is going to be a clear-cut victory into January where the market's going to be back up and running here. And this, it's so funny because this is, once again, this is the complete opposite of what's supposed to be happening. How many people have we listened to in the past months here say like the market, this is it. I heard, I was on TikTok today and I came across a guy who said we're in the third or fourth week of the bear market. I was like, what are you talking about? There's undoubtedly there will be another bear market, but right now there's still stuff coming down the pipeline. When we get these rate cuts, this is going to generate wealth, money, push into the market, no doubt about it. And for God's sakes, it's Christmas, Q4's, Amazon, a lot of the mag, Apple, they're going to come out with aggressive quarterlies again. Do you really think Apple and Amazon are going to not make their quarterlies for the holidays? What are you talking about? Not to mention Meta, everything pushing ad revenue, Google. I mean, like, what are you talking about? Nvidia's already like, hey, the next quarterly, it's gonna be a beast. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and let you know it's gonna be insane. We're even shocked about it. This is where this whole conversation about this gets so ridiculous to me. And obviously, they're going to bring it up again here around Q4s, but whatever. Buy the fear, buy the drama. It will do well for you, friends. I wish all of you the best of luck today. We'll see what happens, and take care of yourself. Bye, everyone.